Hello, everyone. I wasn't going to do a video today, but a couple of interesting items popped up that I think we should talk about. First of all, there's a young soldier who served in the 82nd Airborne Division in Afghanistan, and he was told in Kabul during the withdrawal to leave all his equipment behind. And consequently, 2 years later, he goes to um leave the army, and according to him, he's being made to pay for the equipment that he was ordered to leave behind. So let's take a look at his video and then we can discuss it.
Today is gear turn-in day for me. Turn in all the gear that I've collected over the last 4 years of being active duty with the Army, with the 82nd Airborne Division. 2 years ago, my unit deployed to Afghanistan for the Afghanistan withdrawal. We spent a few weeks over there. It was hectic, it was chaotic, it was disgusting, and it made me very disappointed in our government. Today, I'm reminded of how disappointed I am in our government. Go to turn in my gear, they want to charge me $500 to $1,000 for gear that I was ordered to leave in Afghanistan 2 years ago. Because as the last two birds were sitting on the tarmac, ready to leave, there wasn't any room for extra gear or extra weight. Therefore, we were told to leave it. Some lower enlisted dudes, including myself, were like, no, this stuff is expensive. I'm not leaving this. I'm going to get charged for this when it comes time to leave. Don't worry. We're going to catch you on the back end. We'll flipple it. No.
Okay, the issue here is, his chain of command told him to leave the equipment behind. And I'm sure there's other troops also. He's not the only one. So they were ordered to leave their equipment behind. And, now they're being made to pay for the equipment that they left behind. This is completely unacceptable. There's a contract. When you're given order, there's a contract between the senior and the subordinate. There's a contract between the chain of command and the troop that's receiving that order. And the contract is, you have an obligation to do exactly what you're ordered to do. And then the commander that's giving the order has an obligation to uphold that order. So if somebody gave this young troop or these troops an order to leave their equipment behind, and then when they comes time to get discharged from the military, they're being made to pay for this. This is abhorrent. They've served their country honorably. They went in harm's way. They did what they were told, and they should not have to pay for this equipment. So I find this outrageous. What bothers me is, where's the chain of command? What are they doing about it? Why has this come, to fruition now? Why wasn't this addressed when the unit returned back to CONUS, to the United States, and the matter taken care of? A unit can write off equipment. That's not a problem. So, I don't know if those commanders are still around, but somebody needs to follow up within the chain of command, certainly the sergeant major and the battalion commander, or even higher, the brigade commander or the division commander. This matter needs to be addressed, and troops shouldn't be treated like this because, what we forget is word travels at the speed of sound now across the world, across the planet through social media. So people hear about this, and then they figure out, what, this is not the military I want to join, where we get told to do stuff, and at the end that we get screwed. And that's not who we are all about in the military. You say something, you do it. You live up to your word. So this matter needs to be addressed, and these troops need to be taken care of. The second item I wanted to talk about, it's actually good news. General Eric Smith, who's a phenomenal individual, great general officer, combat vet, Purple Heart recipient. Unfortunately, he had a medical emergency. He had some sort of cardiac incident and spent a few days in the hospital, and he's back on his feet in his role as Commandant of the Marine Corps. This is good news for the Marine Corps. However, there's a statement released by the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps for this Thanksgiving weekend. It's a safety message. And I think that's important, the safety messages are, but as a four-star, when you're releasing a message telling Marines to, be careful when they're driving home, take weather into account, take this into account, blah, 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 blah. Coming from a four-star, it gets old. And I'll tell you why. Because this is the job of a platoon sergeant. Typically a squad leader gives the same message, and the platoon sergeant gives it, the platoon commander gives it, the company gunnery sergeant gives it, the company first sergeant gives it, the company commander gives it, the battalion sergeant major says the same thing, the battalion commander says the same thing, the division commander says the same thing, and the Marines switch off. I mean, they hear the same message like 8 to 10 times. So my point is, these are important messages that the Marines should be reminded of. And they should be dealt at the lowest level possible, probably at the squad leader, platoon sergeant level, or maybe company first sergeant level. A 4-star general shouldn't be telling Marines to drive home safely and whatnot, because that's not a 4-star level issue, right? Because then it just becomes ad nauseum. The Marines just switch off. I would rather see the Marine Corps have a program, or the military have a program, where a unit doesn't have any liberty incidents or any automobile, motor vehicle incidents for 30 days, 90 days. They're recognized. The unit is recognized in some manner through, they get one day off or something like that. That's the type of program that we need to recognize, the Marines and soldiers for the positive outcomes, instead of just keep reminding them and berating them to say, hey, be careful driving home, blah, 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 blah. They just switch off. So, good on the assistant commandant of the Marine Corps for thinking about it, but maybe that message should have gone to the commanders to remind their troops about safety, rather than blasting it out to all the lance corporals. And I can just see this happening now. Every formation, they're going to read this off, and we don't want the Marines to switch off. We need to have them stay alert and come back safe. So on that note, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your time with the family. And if you have the means and the time and the capability, invite somebody over to your house for Thanksgiving meal, and give thanks with them. Maybe somebody that doesn't have a family. Maybe there's a Marine or a soldier on base that doesn't is going to be by himself. Invite him to your house. It's a good deed, and you'd be surprised what you learn from these Marines. They're wonderful, and soldiers as well. So that's all I got for today. Yesterday's video just got a huge response. Within the first less than 24 hours, it got over 20,000 views on TikTok. So I enjoy doing them. I enjoy sharing some of these thoughts with you, and I'll try to keep them coming. That's all I got. So have a great day. Khan out.